Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici, welcome my friends. My name is Vincenzo and welcome to my channel. And the channel is Fountain Pen Therapy. Therapy for you folks. I have another Chinese pen review for you. They're coming out one after the other. We've been waiting. I mean, Wing Sung's still quiet. Majohn is somewhat active, so is Jinao. I've seen nothing from Asvine. And I've seen nothing from Dieman. In fact, I don't even know if Dieman still exists. But having said all of that, I got a nice offering for you, a summer offering from Majohn. We've got this Majohn N15 to show you. I think it's a multifunctional pen. Let's take a look at it. So without any further ado, Fountain Pen Therapy presents the Majohn N15. We're back with the pen. Here it is. I've chosen this one, and it comes in different colors. Let me just show you on my screen the different colors that it comes in. Let's cut to my computer. As you can see, it comes in this Iceland blue, which is the one we will be reviewing today. It comes also in what is referred to as seaweed green or desert yellow. Lots of fun, nice colors, nice resin. $33.18. That's what I paid for it. That's Canadian. So what is that? Roughly $25 US. And let's take a closer look. Okay, there it is. I like this resin. I really do. Or this acrylic. First of all, just the finials are kind of one color. They look like it's just a darker shade. It doesn't look like a separate piece. It's just the way they've finished out that those two finials. I think what the camera doesn't pick up, and maybe I'll try to flash some. Yeah, there's a little bit of chatoyancy that you can see a little better when I flash a light to it. Little sparkles there. Very nice resin. I like the color. It's a nice combination of blue. There's some, orange, brown, gold, green. Really, really nice. Really, really nice. Like it. Everything is perfectly integrated, by the way. Very well finished. I like that resin right at the, where the you eyedrop the ink. It's that clear resin that's so sharp that Majohn is known for. There's not much else to say. Difficult to say how many. Well, let's pick up this as a guide. That's one. That's one. That's two. It's 2.5. So about 2.5, and it reveals, that's the first nib. Now they say glass pen. I don't think it's glass. I think it's plastic. It's just my own feeling based on what I've seen in the past from Majohn. If you're wondering, this removes. There it is. You can replace it. You could probably put a nib in there, I would think, but there would be no use for that nib simply because, as you can see, no ink is being drawn to that section. It's a dip pen. You've got to dip the pen into the ink, and then you can wash it out. And we'll do some writing with it. The ink goes in this chamber here. So you can see it's a separate chamber. And you unscrew it, it reveals, to my great surprise, they put in the Majohn Soft Flex as the nib, which is really nice. It's a nice added touch. Now, I don't know if that's just the way the store where I purchased offered, or maybe they offered different options and I chose this one. I forget now. But mine the one I chose anyway, or the one I got, as the Flex nib, which is really, really nice because those nibs are sharp. You can see the section here. It's got that same acrylic, and here you can really pick up the different colors. The nice threading. Let's just, now, you've got to be careful because the caps, oh, I thought the caps were different sizes, but they're perfect. They're the same size, so it really makes no difference how you cap them. Okay, there you go. I thought one was bigger than the other. When you cap it, you need to cap it, otherwise, you've got the other nib. It, fits in your hand really nicely. You cannot post this pen, okay, so it doesn't post, but it, really nice. Same goes with the dip pen. Okay, there you have it. Nice section, very comfortable. The threads are not obtrusive in any way. Very well done. I've got to tell you, very well done from Majohn. There you have it. That's the pen on the outside. Very nice. I've got to tell you, very, very nice. I've got to think about some ink to use in both the dip pen and in that chamber. And we'll see what gives. But before we do that, let's do some pen comparisons. Okay, we're back. Pen and size comparison. What I've got for you here is most are Majohn pens and one pen BBS. So here we have the Majohn S5, and they're all kind of demonstrators, if you will. That's the S5. This is the Majohn M2. This is the Majohn V1, the C1. This is the pen BBS 469. That represents the only other pen that I own in my collection, and I have over 600 pens. That is kind of a double-barreled, or double-nibbed pen offering. And then you have the subject pen, and you can see in terms of size where it situates itself. It's smaller than the pen BBS, that's for sure. Okay, so those are the pens capped. Okay, here are the pens uncapped, and we won't do pens posted because the subject pen just doesn't post. And you can see in terms of size, it's equivalent to the C1, slightly bigger than this test tube pen that I call the V1, and it's bigger than both the S5 and the M2, but significantly smaller than the pen BBS 469. So here are the pens uncapped, and as I mentioned, we will not look at the comparison posted because the subject pen does not post. So what we'll do now is proceed to see some measurements, then we'll do some writing samples, and I will tell you at the end what I like and what I dislike about this pen. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back for the writing sample. Now, in terms of the inks, I think I'm going to go with Majohn. We're going to use this burgundy, as you can see it here in my swatch, to dip the pen, and then this lighter blue, which is a royal blue Majohn, for the nib section of the pen. So there you have it. That's the inks. In terms of the paper, we're going to be using my now trusted CRENA paper. For those of you who don't know what CRENA paper is, then you're missing something. That I can tell you. Take a look at my video on the best alternative to Tomoe River paper original number 7 machined, and you'll find plenty of information on CRENA. I just want to actually close it up a little more. There we go. Okay, move that down. And we're all set. Okay, well, we've got to ink the pen, don't we? So we are going to unscrew the nib section, and the nib does come with an O-ring there. And what I like to use is a syringe. So let me get a towel here. We'll put the towel, take the ink. Oh, I'll suck up some ink here. That's a little too much, but we're okay. And then we just filled the reservoir. Leave a little space just because the nib section is going to go in there. Put the remainder of the ink back in the bottle. Close the ink bottle and screw back in the nib. Now that's going to take some time to get down, okay? So we'll let that process happen. In the meantime, why don't we start with the dip? Okay, so we're going to use this red ink to do some of the dipping. And we'll see how this pen writes. Okay, so this is the Majohn. Wow, that's very nice. Majohn N15. And this is the dip pen section, or the dip nib section. So nib, I'm going to call it glass nib, but I have my doubts. And the description, they also said that my steel nib was titanium, and I don't believe it is. The ink, you'll see how far it goes without another dip, is the Majohn. And I know this Majohn ink has a name, but I'm just going to, for simplicity, say burgundy. That nib is soft. Soft in the sense that it's wet and smooth, and writes a really fine. I would say that this is probably a fine, if not an extra fine. What I mean by soft is that I hardly feel any feedback, and you would think there would be. There's not much else to say. Obviously, the flow is pretty good. Look how much I'm getting here. Let's see if I can throw in fountain pen therapy. It's not bad. I'm running out here now. So I could say this is you got quite a bit there. Quite a bit. Let me just wash that out before I screw it in back into the. Let's see if the ink managed to get through. Okay, I'm back. I had to wait a little while. I waited approximately another 30 seconds because the pen was upside down when I was writing with the dip nib. So I gave it 30 seconds, and it looks like it's flown down. So the ink is now down from the chamber into the nib section. So this is the Majohn N15, and it's the flex nib. Yeah, so the nib is, it goes, it's a fine, but it's soft, and you can get probably a broad there, if not a double broad line, if you know what you're doing with it. These nibs are just fantastic, especially if you can, write calligraphy with it and know how to use it. It springs right back up. If you're not familiar with it, get one right away. It's a really, really nice nib, especially for the price. The ink is the Majohn. I'm going to call it the light blue. It's not as wet as some other. So yeah, let's get into it. First of all, the smoothness. Fairly smooth. Hint of feedback. And that's really because I'm pushing this pen because I want it to flow a little more. And we'll get to flow in a second. Wetness. That's where I think it's not as wet. It's very controlled. If I push it, I get more ink out. Then, in terms of softness or bounce, that's where you get, where it becomes a lot of fun, but it's not as bouncy, or I should say not as flexy as some other flex nibs that I've had in my collection. Let me give you an example of one that is really, really. Is it this one? I believe it's this one. This is another flex nib, the black. Okay, well here, you see how much more flexy that is. It varies. So they're not consistent. This one is very, very bouncy. Okay, softness. Am I missing something? Reverse writing. Yeah, that's nice. Wow. 10 on 10. Very rarely do I like reverse writing. You're probably getting here an extra fine, but very smooth. So for likes and dislikes, I like the design. I like the idea of having two nibs there available. Of course, the PenBBS 469 gives you two chambers to work with, so you can put different nibs. But this is nice because when you're doing some swatching, you can do some writing. You can do it's a multifunctional pen. The model is fairly ordinary, but it's fine. The build quality is excellent. The nib is where I say not as flexy. And this lack of consistency in their nibs. Is an issue because you don't know what you're going to get, right? The price is fair at $33 Canadian, I think I mentioned earlier. That's fine. I mean, it's not an extraordinary pen. I like the resin. And I like the clear section as well because it's very, very sharp. It's almost like a magnifying glass. There you have it. And that glass nib really is nice. Very nice. So, yeah. It's okay. It's okay. It's $33. You know, it's the type of pen where some people would say I have other priorities than this one. It's not something you have to absolutely, well, you don't have to absolutely buy any pen. Let's face it. But I think it's a nice offering. Quite a bit of ink fits in there, by the way. Surprising. And you can use it as a dip pen. So, you know, you might have some use for this combination of two nibs, you know. And it's a fairly good writer. It's a very good build quality pen. So there you have it. Oh, there we go. There you have it. Nothing extraordinary. Do I recommend it? For $33, if you're, just collecting, is it an absolute winner? Not really. But I see nothing wrong with it other than the inconsistent nib. But it's still nice. It's still a nice nib. It still writes. It just doesn't give you the flex that some other Majohn Flex nibs do. But it's hit and miss with them, I think. I love the resin, and if you like this kind of combination, then it's okay. But it's not an extraordinary offering on the part of, it's not a P140. Let's put it that way. There you have it, folks. Thank you very much for joining me. Please subscribe and comment. Throw in a little bell or a little like. That helps the YouTube algorithm. And stay tuned for my next video. Got plenty of pens to review. They're all in the pipeline, including another Majohn and another Jinhao. So stay tuned, folks. Enjoy your pens, enjoy your paper, enjoy your inks. Ciao.